Alright guys, welcome back to another MCreator tutorial. So today what we're going to be looking at is the date and time blocks, which can be found under the date and time tab, which is just under the text variables. So we have quite a bit of different variables here. Some are numbers, some are text, and yeah, we can actually get values for the real time or the computer time. So basically, this will be reflective of the actual time on and date for the actual computer that it is running on. So if you're running your mod from a server, then it would be server time, not the client time. So there's a little bit of difference when you're working with these kinds of blocks. Just something to keep in mind when you're actually running the mod from somewhere else, because you'll have to kind of adapt for that kind of time change. But basically there are a whole bunch of different blocks. There is seconds, minutes, current hours, like for the hours. There's day of current week. So this is basically the number from Monday to Sunday, I believe. So we'll get into the ranges for what these values actually are, because those are kind of important. And then their week of current year. So this is basically what number of the week you're on in that full year. So it can go up to like a huge number, like 53 or something like that. Sometimes 52, but we'll again get into the data when we look at the comments here. Day of current month. So this is the day number of the month. So sometimes this can be different values as well. Current month, this is the number version. This is, I believe, I don't know exactly the range. We'll look at that in a second. And the current year. So this would be like 2026 or whatever the current year is. We also got a couple other blocks down here, which we'll be covering as well. I have them already on the screen here, which we can kind of cover, and a little bit of notes for this one, because you can actually format this with more additional information. So that's actually pretty cool. All right, so let's start with this one, and I'm going to print out all of the different types of blocks that we got from the date and time. So this is all of these ones. And we'll see basically what those values are according to what date it is currently when I'm recording. All right, so in order for me to actually get the date and time, we need to right click on a entity here. So I'm gonna right click on that, and we should have our date and time up here. So I did it like 4 times, but let's see here. So we have seconds, which is currently 16. It was 15. And then we have minutes, which is 30. 8, yeah, that's correct. And hours, it's 8 a.m. currently for recording, so yes. And then day of week, this is the second day of the week, so it looks like it actually starts on Sunday when it counts from 1 to 7. And then we also have the week of the year, so we're currently on the 21st of the weeks of the full year. And then we have day of the month, so this is the 18th. We can open up the calendar and we can see that it's on the 18th. And then we have the month, so this is a little bit different. This says 4. You would think this is actually April, but April is normally what you would count with, but because it starts at 0, it's actually May. So that's a little bit of a difference thing that will get you almost every time if you don't know, if you don't test. So, and then our year. So that's basically all the different blocks that we printed out here. So those are all correct. Again, if this is running on the server, like Minecraft server, then what you would be getting the date and time from is that particular server time, not the client time. So that's really important because it's getting the computer time, not specifically the client's time. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the values exactly of what's going on with these. So I'm going to close out of the game, and we'll close out of this so it's out of the way. So we have seconds of current minute. So this is from 0 to 59. And then we have minutes, 0 to 59, so very simple stuff. And then we have hours, which is 0 to 23. So this is basically to be expected. There's 24 hours in a day, but because it starts at 0, then it's going to be 23 when you get to that particular part. And then you have your days of the week. So this is between 1 and 7. So again, when we're working with the day of the week one, it's basically running from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's the order that it goes in, and it's from 1 to 7. So Sunday is always going to be the first day of the week, where Monday is second, and so on. So it's really important to kind of understand that when you're working with that particular one. And then we have the weeks of the year. This one's a little bit different because not all years are going to land on the same particular end day or end week. So basically, sometimes it might be 52, and then sometimes it might be 53. So it will always start with 1, though. So it will be between 1 and 53 or 1 and 52. It really depends on the year and, you know, how many weeks and the format of how the things are structured. So like every calendar is a little bit different. So depending on what order the days actually land on for that year will depend on the if it's a 52 year or a 53 year. So, and then we have days of the month. This is also kind of variable based. February can be 28 or 29 at times, and some months are 30 and 31. So it's not all of perfect, but it all starts at 1 as well. And then current month, this is from 0 to 11. So when you're working with this, for example, January is going to be 0 and December is going to be 11. And then every month between. So basically, if you're used to counting that by like solid numbers, like January is the first month, then just always subtract 1, and that's basically your number for that particular month. And then your year, it's basically standard. It's going to be 2026 or whatever. So that leaves these two blocks here. We'll go with this one because this is the easiest to actually explain, because there's not much you can really do with it. Just kind of prints out the exact date. So we'll look at that next and pop into game. All right, so we got another entity here. So let's click on that and then we'll pause, and then we can look into our console here, and we got a date here. So this has a bunch of different other formats in here. We got the day, which is in basically text form. We have a mon for Monday. We have May for the month, the 18th of what day we're on. We also got the exact time. I'm assuming this is a 24-hour clock. I'm not entirely sure. There is 2 digits here, so it's hard to tell. And then basically PDT, which is a specific time format. And then we also got the year of what we're currently on, so 2026. So this could be useful for making logs or anything like that if you need to actually print out something if something crashes, or date and time or something like that. But most likely you won't be using that one specifically for a lot of things. So there's that one, and then there is the other block here, which is actually really fun, because I asked Klemen about it for the format types, and because I wasn't really sure entirely what kind of letters and stuff would actually be used for this thing. And he provided me a Java document that gives you all the different letters and stuff like that for the formats. So as you can see on the side here, it basically has a letter, and we can print out certain things based on that. So for example, if we wanted year, I'm going to put this over on the side here so I can kind of show you guys while I'm explaining. So if we wanted the year, then we would use a lowercase y. If we wanted the week year, so we would use a capital Y. And then there's other formats like M, and there's a lowercase m for minute in hour, where capital M is month in year. So there's a couple different formats here. They give examples of what the output is on the other side here for examples as well. For example, G is for era. So I would assume this doesn't really change too much because we haven't really, it's something that doesn't change that frequently, but it would be AD or something like that. And then you have year, so it would give you the format of the year and stuff like that. So there's two different formats. There's like the YYY, which we currently have here. And then there would be like 96. So this would be like 2, I guess, Ys, and then you would fill that in. So let's go ahead and format something just a little bit to kind of experiment with this. I want to know about milliseconds. So let's get some time information in. So let's go with milliseconds. There is 3 numbers for that, so we're going to go with that. We're going to add a dash here to separate that, and then we want seconds per minute, so that's a regular S, and that's only 2 digits, so we can go with that. And then we can go with minutes per hour, so that's lowercase m, so we'll use 2 for that. And then we want hours in a day, so we could go with K, which is hours in day, which is 1 to 24, or we could go with the standard, what we're used to with like the one that we have for the block, which is hours in day, which is 0 to 23. So we'll go with that one instead. And I think that'll be good enough for the test, so we can use that for example, and then we'll go ahead and start up the game and kind of check the console to see what's going on. All right, so let's go right click on this squid here. I think I clicked on it, I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and open up console now, and we can see that we got the milliseconds here, which is the first digit. We have 728, 734, 129, and 135 for when I clicked on it. You might notice that this is slightly different between the server side and client side. So most likely the order of when it's actually running is dependent on when the script is running. So milliseconds might actually be a little bit different between client and server, which makes sense when you're really thinking about how code actually executes in the order. So most likely the render thread in this case is running before the server thread, so that will be a lower milliseconds than the server thread. So just something to keep in mind when you're working with milliseconds, I guess. And then we have 51, which is our current seconds, and then 51, and 53, and then 53. So that was when our 2 clicks happened. We also had 50 for a minute, so that's pretty accurate. It's 52 now, but we paused and got out of game and everything like that, so that's correct. And then 8 o'clock a.m. So yeah, it's still 8 currently of recording. So that's perfect. Everything basically works. I didn't actually think much about the milliseconds, so that's actually really interesting. It makes sense why they don't actually have the milliseconds in a block form, but I guess it could still be useful if you're working with more precise time and stuff like that, if you need that. I just suggest running things on a specific side, like server side, when you're working with that instead. Then you're just testing for one, not both of them. But other than that, that's basically the time blocks in a nutshell. I will provide Klemen's link, this one right here, in the description of the video, so you guys can easily check the formats and stuff like that. There's a lot of different information in here, so you can probably get really sophisticated different formats and stuff like that with this particular document, so I'll make sure to provide that. Other than that, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, comment down below, rate the video, let me know in the comments what you liked about it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.